Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to RLCraft. So, since last episode, it's been a bit of time. It's actually now spring again. So the snow has all dried up, and green has come back. It has come back. So, which is actually good timing, because I was fighting the snow a bit, and I'm glad that it's gone for what we're going to be working on today. Now, I didn't do much work on the house itself, but I did do a bit of work over here. I actually set up this little structure here, which is where we're going to be working today. And I also set up this small little cactus farm that I've been harvesting from, and we're going to be using some cactus. I've already got it smelted up and everything just to kind of expedite a bit of our work this episode. And then I used up a bunch of our glowstone just to run a glowstone string across, so we've got lighting throughout this. And then this actually, if we hit F9, we can take a look, and there we go. Everything in here is lit up nicely. And I think, even though it's now spring again and we can grow crops, moving forward, we're going to be doing all of our farming. Of course, we haven't done a whole lot of farming thus far. But we're going to be doing all of our farming in greenhouses that are set up out here. Kind of in this style, I think. And, yeah, and back in here is actually where the water's at. So underneath these brick staircases is where all the water is at. And also, with it being spring now, my little temporary netherwort farm is starting to grow, which is wonderful, because we are going to be using this probably later this episode. Right now I'm just working on kind of spreading out this netherwort and getting it growing a bit faster, but yeah. So what we're going to do first and foremost, let's go ahead and get all this. And then I've got some cactus grains. I've got some more glass here because I was using a little bit for stained glass panes, some cyan stained glass. Also, I need to go mining soon because I only have 2 iron at the moment, which is pretty bad, I must say. And gathering up all the sand was a bit of a chore. Luckily, we have a huge desert nearby, so it's actually not that bad. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a bit of lapis, and we're going to make just a bit of cyan dye. I'm going to do a full stack of this. We're going to go ahead and craft out, boom, there's 64 greenhouse glass. And then let's go ahead and pop up right up here. Also stone, like I am constantly out of stone. I have mined up so much stone. Oh, is this going to be enough? No, actually, I'm sure it's not going to be. Technically, I could go to some of those villages that we came across and silk touch the greenhouse glass. I'm assuming that silk touch pick should gather greenhouse glass. I haven't actually tested it, but honestly, with the time spent going out and gathering up all of that, I don't really feel like it's worth it. Yeah, this is going to take closer to 2 stacks. Yeah, that's only going to cover that side. I actually like the way this glass looks, though. I think it looks pretty cool on the inside. I mean, it's not overly fancy, but it kind of matches the style of this building with the materials and stuff like that, and I think it actually kind of works out. For some reason, when I was setting this up, I was thinking that it was the cyan glass in the middle and the wood planks around the side made 4. I wasn't okay. Alright, well that's fine. 32. I can go gather some more cactus. This is grown, and I'll just have to get smelted real quick. But we got some stuff we can plant in the process. Which is fine. I also did find another mending book. So we have mending on our chest plate. And I got Unbreaking 3 and Protection 4 on our legs. Actually, just a minute ago. That I got around to doing that. Oh, and I did go ahead and I'll take you up there here in just a second. I disenchanted everything. Well, almost everything. There was a couple things I didn't disenchant simply because they weren't worth disenchanting at the moment, and they've got mending on them. So, you know, the pack's still seeing updates. So if over time, later on, maybe the disenchantment table loses where it basically just automatically consumes everything. You know, maybe that becomes a thing. And if so, we've got some items that have mending on them for that possibility. If it doesn't happen, that's fine, because the enchantments that are on there that I would get are like sharpness 1 and stuff. So they're really not worth worrying about as it stands at the moment. So there we go. I'll take you up there real quick, and which this stuff, once again, all this stuff's going to start getting moved here soon, but we've got lots of enchanted books. Lots of enchanted books. Enchanted books. Enchanted books. Now, I haven't actually started combining all of these together, but you can see I've got a mending sword and a mending headpiece right here. The headpiece having protection 1, the sword having sharpness 1, neither of which are all that useful to us. And we actually do have a couple books of advanced protection. It's only like rank 1. They're somewhere lost in this sea of books, basically. And also that atomic deconstructor, it is your attacks have a very low chance that can guarantee an instant kill. A couple of grammatical errors there, but no biggie. So that's kind of nifty that you can get an insta kill. I wonder if it works on bosses. If it does, that might be something to consider for like later, more permanent weapons. I don't know. Just depends on if we have the space. I'd really like to get the poison, the one poison effect. In Venom, I think is what it's called. I would like to get that on like a more permanent weapon, and you know, some stuff, some more refined stuff. But because of course this weapon I made a big boo-boo on, but it's not really, you know, at first I was kind of like bummed about it, but the more I got to thinking about it, it was kind of like a blessing in disguise in a way. Because this weapon is already like super overkill and like one-shots most everything. Unless it has like, you know, close to 100 health and stuff like that. Then, you know, maybe it takes 2 or 3 hits. But I think I basically just need like one more craft of this. Yeah. But this weapon's already a bit overkill. And if I hadn't of basically used up most of the enchanting levels, like I doubt I can put much of anything on this at this point. Just because, you know, it was close to 30 levels just to get what we had on there. Then I would probably end up wasting more enchants on it that I really don't need to for a temporary weapon. So I'm actually kind of glad. I went ahead and made 16 because we're going to need more of this later on. This is just our first little greenhouse area. So I don't mind making up a bit of extra of this because we're going to need a bunch. Huh. That has a wood sound when you run over it. It's interesting. And glowstone has a brick. Yeah, glowstone has like a brick mixed with gravel sound. Huh. Okay, well anyways, so actually I'm kind of, in a way I'm kind of happy that I messed up on the sword. Because, you know, that's fine. Because it doesn't even have, you know, even if it had one of the nicer things that we got on it, it's still not an ideal sword for like long term. It's a fine sword short term though. So alright, so our greenhouse class is in place. Now what I need to go do, what is my farming skill at? 12. That should allow us to use iron hose, which I think I have some of. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just let me take this off just so it's a bit easier. We're going to go ahead and hoe all this ground. I'm going to need to change these to bricks down here because that's going to drive me insane. I didn't think about it when I first set those up. And technically these could be removed and you have one more block or four more blocks of farming space. But I like the way they look personally. And then these little things back here, these little tables, we could use them for storage. Maybe put crates or something on them. Or we could just leave them empty. I'm probably going to leave them empty, I think. And we will probably have some storage like outside of these for the relevant crops that we're growing inside of here. I don't know if we'll use chests or crates or... I guess the only other option would be like shulker boxes or something. But we'll probably use just chests or crates. Maybe a mix of both, honestly, just to make it look a little bit more interesting. And I think in this building, with the way it's shaped, we're not going to do like melons and stuff in here. I think we're going to go with seeds, and then we could either go with netherwort, which I wouldn't need the farmland. I'm probably not going to go with netherwort. Netherwort's actually not going to be that important for us because brewing's cool, but this pack you actually really don't need it because, of course, you have Lycanite's foods, and they apply multiple potion effects, and they're just generally better. They're like potions in the form of food, which is always nice. So that's probably what we're going to go with in terms of potion type effects. So I don't see us doing a whole lot of brewing. So I'm going to go with actually, well, I was thinking about carrots, but let's actually go with potatoes, seeds and potatoes. Then we can do baked potatoes as just like a general food source, and then we'll have Lycanite's foods for basically first aid. For now, until we have like large surpluses of Lycanite's foods, and then that'll become more of our staple foods. So, actually, before I do that, let me go grab 4 bricks real quick and fix those. Probably do brick slabs. Okay, there we go. And seeds, they only grow in summer and autumn normally. But as we are about to see, greenhouse glass should bypass that and allow us to grow these. As long as there's greenhouse glass above it, we should be able to grow these year-round now. And that includes wintertime. Yeah, that one just grew. And they're probably going to start growing pretty fast because we do have ranks in Green Thumb. I've actually got, if we take a look here, crafting, I've got 4 points in Green Thumb right now. That's something I've been just kind of putting some levels towards because of the fact that I knew that we're going to start getting into a bit more harvesting. Now, there is harvest efficiency. That's pretty nice, but I find that Green Thumb is even better early on. And then harvesting is kind of nice, but until you get it ranked up to where you have like a decent... Oh, I'm going to have to fix these little bits too. It's really only like 8 blocks, though, that I've got to place down, so that's not too bad. Okay, well, that's all the potatoes that I have, so this first greenhouse is going to be entirely just potatoes and wheat growing year-round. And so that way we've got food for the Ariosaurs, as well as the cows or sheep. We'll probably actually be breeding sheep to feed to our carnivorous animals, I think. And so that way, let's see, I believe whenever we feed the sheep to the chupacabras, let me actually test it real quick. And to do so, I'm going to have to breed these sheep real quick. But I believe they're going to drop their wool. And so it's going to give us a way to farm wool fairly easily while not actually having to shear the sheep. We're going to get it as a byproduct just from breeding our chupacabras and our pinkies and stuff within our upcoming Lycanite farm. I can go ahead and breed these before the... There you go. The parrots and the bats. Yeah, apparently turkeys and ariosaurs do not give that advancement. It's only from breeding vanilla animals. Alright, I've got us a sheep. And I'm going to take it back to our base real quick. Alright. You can jump and grab those like midair. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's drop our sheep in there. Drop our sheep in there. Alright, you guys should... I'm going to set them to wander. And wander. I'm going to say aggressive. And aggressive. There's a baby chupacabra. Okay, it does tame them. And it's a level 4. It's got a little bit more health than the parents have. But yeah, you can see we get the mutton and the wool, but they make a baby for killing the sheep. Actually, I think if we just do the one, I think it will breed the chupacabras. It seems like. Because they bred after the first kill. So if we throw one sheep in here, then we get a baby out of it. So, and the babies are super, super, super cute when they're little like this. Because their heads are like ginormous compared to their bodies. Hey there. And we can go ahead and time, or this one, we can go ahead and set everything on it. We're going to set it to, it's going to be aggressive, and it's going to wander around. There we go. Awesome. Okay. And then honestly, it seems like we could have just one of them as aggressive, or, you know, whatever, that runs around, it kills the sheep, and then it goes and breeds with the other parent. But long term, I'd like to have a few of the parents. So honestly, what I might end up doing, because of the way they work, I might end up having just breeding pairs put into cages, and then I can drop a sheep in each breeding pair's cage to ensure that that breeding pair breeds and we get a baby out of it. But you know, they're not just indiscriminately killing and not breeding, you know, because their breeding timer's up. Because like, they killed both those sheep, but they only made one baby. Because they have a breeding timer just like cows and stuff. For some reason, I was thinking that both parents need to eat, but it seems like as long as one eats, then they'll breed, and I guess they share the food or whatever. You know, they just like to kill things. We'll test it again here in just a second with the pinkies, but okay. So I'm gonna go check my potatoes, see how these are doing. But yeah, the wool is going to be nice because we're going to start making some banners here soon. Basically just for decoration. They spice up an area a lot. So we're going to make them look a little bit better by throwing in some banners. So, okay, so on to our pinkies. What we're going to do, just to make this a bit easier, is I've actually built this around. I started to do this last episode, but I decided to wait because I didn't have nether wart built up. And we are going to need some nether warts, actually a substantial amount of nether warts. 5 per attempt, or per 4 attempts, really. What we're going to do is we're going to break this dirt and this dirt. And that's actually going to release some pinkies. And I'm going to go ahead and block that off again. Okay, so we've got 2 pinkies that have gotten in here. And what we're going to do is, let's pop up here. Let's go ahead and, boom, get ourselves 4 demon treats. Of course, chupacabras are beast treats. Generally, if a creature's tameable, it's going to be pretty apparent as to what type of treat that it uses. If you're unsure, of course, now all the Lycanites mobs fit into the same category. But one thing that you can do is you can look up, if you look up Lycanites, you can really tell right here, like Chupacabra falls into the beast category, it's spawn beast. But if you look at Lobber, that's spawn brute. If you look at Abtu, that's spawn aquatic, and so on and so forth. And this is true for all the different Lycanites mobs now. The spawn elemental is Sif. Arthropod is Joust, and so on. So if you're unsure what kind of treat, you can usually tell based on that. But what we're going to do is just right click. He wants more, he wants more, he wants more, he wants more. Okay, so that we didn't breed him at all. So we've got to wait for our nether wart to come back in, which could take a little bit. I've got a few more bones upstairs, not a whole lot. And this part kind of all comes down to RNG, so yeah, I've got 4 bones. So I'm going to have to make 8 more demon treats. Honestly, unless we get really unlucky, 8 should tame both of them. But it is possible that we get really unlucky again as well. Now, another thing that you can do with Pinky is, because dropping sheep in there, if you want to be extremely lazy and don't want to farm Pinkies in the traditional sense of dropping the sheep in, letting them breed, letting it grow, killing it, and then maybe getting 4 or 5 Pinky meat per kill. Another thing that you can do, if you notice, I have a lot of pinkies spawning from my nether portal. I know I've mentioned this before. I have no intentions of doing an XP farm in this series because I feel like it defeats the purpose of this series, because, you know, that's no fun. You should be out exploring to get XP is the way I see it. But if you want to do it the really easy way, what you can do is you can actually just open up your nether portal, put a fence around this with some kind of a killing chamber type thing, and they will just naturally spawn, come out of the nether portal, go into the fence, and just hang out. And I would put like a drop below the nether portal, so they drop down into like a killing area. And pinkies are actually kind of unique. Pinkies, chupacabras, a lot of creatures like this that are hostile but can be tamed. They will never despawn, regardless. Even I think even if you set it to peaceful, they'll still be there. So these guys are basically just going to pile up in a kill chamber, and you can go and kill them whenever you want to. So that's one way that you can get pinky meat fairly easily. I'm not going to do that because it's a little bit more fun to actually breed them and raise them, but that is an option. So, and then you could even go so far as to add some kind of auto-killing mechanism for them if you want. But looting sword might be the better way to go on that, like a looting greatsword, because you could come in here, cleave them, and especially if you have it. I'm not sure if they're immune to fire or not. So they may not burn. You may not be able to cook the pinky meat with the flaming swords, but we might test that in a minute. But anyways, that is an option. So, because they do spawn very, very quickly. You can kill these off, and then within a couple minutes, you'll have 5 more built up inside your nether portals. So, it's just up to you. But I'll be back once I have the nether wart to give this another shot. Okay, there's 4 more demon treats, and also something I want to mention, because you guys may not realize it, and this is something I didn't even think about until I set up the farm either. You know, with seeds and stuff like that, it says summer and autumn are the fertile seasons. Nether wart, it doesn't list as anything, but I did notice it will not grow in the wintertime. Now, chances are it will grow with greenhouse glass, just like, you know, wheat's growing right now, even though it's spring. Greenhouse glass is going to allow us to grow stuff out of season, so nether wart should work with that. But it seems like winter is just kind of a blanket effect within the mod of nothing can grow during the winter without greenhouse glass. So netherwort seems to be impacted by that as well. Now cactus and sugar canes, they're pretty much exceptions because they're not standard growth. So you can grow those without greenhouse glass, it seems like, but just a heads up, if you're playing netherwort and it's not growing, it's probably because it's winter time. So, but let's go ahead. He wants more. Now he loves us. Okay. And let's try with this one. He loves us. Okay, awesome. So we got both of these tamed. And so let me grab our leads. And let me go ahead and remove this. And we will soulstone one of these as well. Here in just a little bit. But go ahead and snag these. We're going to hook these up and take them upstairs. Now once again, you could just ride these with a saddle. That would be fine as well. Are they going to fit through here? No. That's fine. Let me make a new diamond pick. I actually ran through one of these between episodes, just mining stone, which was fun. There we go. It's because of the door. That's what it was. And let's take these over here to their new little makeshift pen. Make sure they don't eat my my passive animals here, because these guys are pretty monstrous, like chupacabras, but actually a little bit worse, just because they're a bit stronger. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and set these guys to, let me remove this. I think it's O to turn it off, but I just always tend to type garbage in there and it removes it. We're going to set these to wander aggressive and wander aggressive. Okay. He wanted out of there really, really bad. He did. How's our baby? It's still a baby right now, but that's fine. But you can see it's a level 4. So it's going to be a little bit stronger than its parents. And I think the one that we have tamed right now is a level 3 chupacabra, I believe. Oh, it's really, really weak. It's only got 16.5. So honestly, if we breed them up and we get a nice level, it might be worth taming a new chupacabra as our go ahead and just miss him as kind of our like keep around sort of pet. And so with that, you can make better mounts. If you recall, our shade is pretty strong. The reason that he's as strong as he is because he came from a boss drop soulstone. They tend to be a bit stronger, but we can get some better manual type bred up mounts and pets by breeding. So that is an option. And the levels tend to be somewhat random, but if you have higher level parents, you're going to generally get higher level babies. So, but there is some randomization to that. So, okay, so now that we've got that, I might actually try. Let me release like another pinky, perhaps. There we go. I've only got the one demon trait. He wants more. Okay. So he is not going to be our pets. Yeah, they seem to be immune to fire. So that's good to know. We got 2 raw pinky meat. But I will want to get one of those for taming. Honestly, though, I'd probably be better off just breeding the parents, making strong babies, and then using those, to be perfectly honest. I need to make a couple gates to actually go into there. And I keep the fence too high because I can't remember if it's true of the newer versions of Lycanites, but there was, in the older versions at least, if I recall, there was some creatures that would come out and they would hunt down livestock, and they could jump over too high or one high fences. So I tend to like making my stuff too high. And I've got to start digging out the space and making the proper pens now that I've got pinkies and I've got chupacabras. There are a couple more carnivorous animals that I want to get. But those 2 are the big ones. Chupacabra meat is awesome. And if you make the, what is it, the chili, I want to say, is their refined food. If you make the chili, it's got some really good effects. And then the pinky meat, of course, we're going to need for battle burritos. So I'm sorry for this sheep, but you're about to get devoured here in just a moment. Wander, aggressive. Yeah. Okay, it's probably just going to take them a second. They're wanting something. Probably the Ariosaurs, to be perfectly honest. They're probably so close to the Ariosaur that they're like, oh, this is a bigger meal than that little minuscule sheep is. So it's probably going to take them a second to realize that right over here, this sheep's like, I'm going to stay on the other side of this pen from these guys. Come here. Here in a minute, they're going to notice this guy and they're going to devour him. They're trying to get out that gate bad. They're like, they're so close. I want them. Yeah, so we're going to need these kind of set away from the Ariosaurs. That sheep's wanting to get eaten right now. There we go. And then oh, he ate the sheep, but he didn't breed. Okay. They want out of there so bad right now. Yeah, I might need 2 sheep then for them. Okay, I was editing some footage, and just while I was editing, it was actually I was editing footage for last episode, getting that edited down so I could get that uploading. And while I was doing that, I did go ahead, and I've been continuing farming, so potatoes have been spread out now, and sheep are bred up a bit. And also over here, I brought a couple sheep over and set them up over here, and I started building this. It's not... I'm going to make this probably less square. Oh. Okay. I'm going to make this a bit less square, but this is kind of a general idea of what I'm going to do. So we're going to go through and basically build like little breeding pens. I'm thinking I might do like 4 per pen, maybe like 4 pinkies, 4 chupacabras, and do maybe 3 pens. We'll see. Now, unfortunately, when I was moving the chupacabras over, I didn't see him back there. When I was moving the chupacabras over, the level 4 escaped and took off running, and I lost him in the trees. He's out probably battling, or maybe finally died. This one actually tried to attack a zombie, killed the zombie, but he did take a little bit of damage. So they are quite ready for battle. Oh, and I missed a block there. Must have been a visual bug whenever I did that then, because I could have swore there was a block here. But anyways, I'll go grab some more stone in a second, fix that. But so the idea is we've got the stairs there, and we'll be able to access it in different places. This walkway that runs up there, and then if we go inside of here, you know, we can step up to this little walkway, and then this walkway is going to come back and kind of connect into our pig and cow and sheep breeding pens, which will be a bit larger with lots of sheep and cows in them. And they're basically going to be used for feeding our animals. And then, of course, we'll get the drops. We'll get the leather and the meat and the pork and the mutton and all that stuff whenever we feed them to our animals. So we'll get those as kind of byproducts. But then what we can do is we can go back in there and grab a couple animals, bring them over, and then what we can do is we can just drop them in the pen. They're going to get slaughtered. And then we'll drop another one in there. Oh, they're breeding. They're like excited because there's a sheep. It seems like they need to do so much damage, I think, and then they breed. But this one is a pinky level 4. So it's the same as the parents, 28.6 on its total health. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and feed our chupacabras some sheep as well, just to get another baby. But let's go ahead and throw a couple sheep in there. Okay, they don't need an entire sheep. So it varies from species to species. So chupacabras basically breed after, I don't know, eating about half of a sheep while it's still alive. And we got another level 4 chupacabra. Awesome. So, and then basically I just have to build this out, add more breeding pens, then add the pens with the sheep, the pigs, the cows. And then we'll probably do one for chickens as well back in there. And then the turkeys are going to stay over there where they're at. And we're basically going to kind of open this up and have a pathway that comes through. And then eventually we're going to build some walls around this just to defend it a little bit better. But it's starting to kind of come together bit by bit. So, and just kind of keeping the style. I mean, we don't really have much in the way of modded blocks outside of like Lycanite. So I figured stone and wood, it's kind of cheap. And bricks are a little bit more expensive, but they're not that bad. Plus, with the roguelike dungeon, we got a bunch. I'm actually at the point now where I'm having to use clay, but it's not that bad. So, and this little, I mean, this is all grown out now, just about. This is actually going to churn out a lot of potatoes and wheat just with the one greenhouse. So, but we're going to build some more greenhouses here soon. But yeah, so I think with that, I do believe I'm going to end out this episode here. Next episode, the thing is, for the battle burritos, we need 3 other animals. I need a proper pen for the Aryasaurs. I'm going to work on that before too long. But we still need macas. We need aspids. We need yetis. Yetis, I actually have a place pretty close by where I can go get yetis. Same with macas. Those aren't going to be a big concern. Aspids are going to be the big problem. I have seen aspids in the world. I've come across some swamps. But I don't recall any terribly close to our base. And there's nothing that I can think of in this pack that allows us to pick up animals, you know, aside from carry-on, which does not work with the Lycanites mobs. So, well, I haven't tried it with chupacabras, you know. Now, well, I know it's not going to allow me to pick those up because that is tamed ones. But, and I wouldn't really want to pick up untamed ones. I'm sure we can't, though. It makes me think, though, of that time on Sevtech when I was trying to carry slimes, though. Like the slimes from Between Lands. That was a fun project. So, yeah, aspids are probably going to be a chore to get back to our base. I mean, we could always set up farms off-site, but without chunk loaders, it's not really all that realistic to do so, because then, you know, they still need time for their breeding cycles to pass, and not having them at our base would be kind of a pain to pass those cycles. It would basically be a big AFK process, which wouldn't be fun. So I'm going to try to find some that are semi-close to our base and try to bring them over, but we'll see. I'm going to have to do some scouting, I think, between episodes or something. But I think next episode we might go out and do a little bit of exploration, kind of break up, you know, just working on our base like we have been, break it up with a little bit of exploration, and then we'll come back and continue working on this little section and doing some other stuff around the base as well. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.